Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about drugs. All kinds of drugs, recreational drugs, prescription drugs, smoking, you name it. Anything that your body does not naturally provide itself with is a drug. Not meaning regular foods. The reason we're going to talk about drugs is I've gotten a couple of questions about whether drugs, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to explain, whether drugs make you see the other side or can cause you to see the other side. And the answer to that is yes, especially depending on the drug. Marijuana, biggest thing out there that changes your perception and allows you to see what I would call your peripheral vision, which is that thin space between here and the other side. But what happens is, even though these drugs can heighten you to see the other side, they also distort what you see because they're chemicals, because they're not naturally found in the body. They're not things that naturally the body needs to survive. So, next time, you smoke a little weed and you start to see the other side, just remember, you're not necessarily seeing what's there, because what happens is it gets distorted. It gets very distorted when you're on medications for almost anything. Any kind of medication, if it's strong enough, can alter your perception. People think that, I'm taking this medication and it's for this part of my body, it's only going to affect this part of my body. That's not true. When you put a drug into your body, it goes through your entire system before it figures out where it needs to be, or for enough of it to get to the place it needs to be. Drug does not just go into the body and go, and has little homing devices and goes where it needs to go. Or, you're going to smoke a little weed and it's just going to kind of like, make you high and make you, feel good. No, it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect every part of your body and your mind. Remember, your physical body comes with a mind, and then your spiritual self comes with a mind. And these two minds are trying to work together to exist in this lifetime. And what happens is, if you're more in your physical self, you pull on that part of your mind. When you're more in your spiritual self, you pull on that part of your mind. And the objective is to create balance. The objective is to not lose that spiritual side, because that is what lacks most. Only because our physical selves are so dense, physically dense, that we pull on that psyche, and we try and take away from the spiritual. You remember the little childhood story where you would have the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, and you had to listen to which one it was and make the choice? Well, it's the same thing. Your physical mind is trying to pull you toward, yes, things that you would enjoy, but if you don't know where that fine line is, it can pull you so far down into the negative where it becomes hard on your life, or an addiction, or it just takes you away from who you're meant to be. So, the next time you decide to, or you're given a drug, or you decide to recreationally take a drug, just remember, there are always consequences. Always. And alcohol can do the same thing, especially if you're on a prescription medication. And this is what a lot of people don't get. There is a reason they say on the label of the prescription drug, do not drink alcohol, because you're going to flip out. That's what happens. Your mind gets altered. Your spiritual self is trying to hold on, and your physical self is like, we're going to go over here, and we're going to do that, and we're going to have this. And so you have these two clashings of the mind, and it doesn't make any sense. And what happens is, it usually scares the person. One of the people who wrote in asking me about drugs asked me about marijuana and was kind of freaked out about it. And that's because it's an altered perception. It's not reality. It's yes, you have broken down that barrier where you can take a glimpse into the other side. But then you have this altered state because of the chemical in your body that's making you not see clearly. You're seeing what's there, but maybe that drug is breaking down the barrier and making you create fear. And remember, fear is a man-made emotion. It's not innate within you. It's not part of your spiritual self. And there is nothing on the other side to be afraid of, unless you're, in a bad way in this world. And then, yes, negative energies can pull on you. But, be careful with drugs. Remember, God did not make the drugs. Yeah, God made marijuana. I think he made it for cancer patients. But, anything God created in this world has a purpose. And getting high is not a purpose. Sorry. It's just not. And believe it or not, the more clear-minded you are, the happier you are. Because that's why people tend to do drugs, because they're not happy. They're trying to find a false sense of security. They're trying to find that happiness. And you can't find that in something else or someone else. You have to find it within yourself. So I hope that helped clear that up. And, be careful what you take. Ciao.